2014 State of our City. This is my 5th term as your mayor since I was elected in 1992. Now there may be a little snow on the summit, but there's still plenty of fire in the furnace. I want to thank you all for showing up today. We've accomplished a lot in this last year, and I'm very pleased to present the following to you. It's been a time for the city and your city council and staff for less talk and more walk, and I think you're going to see that presented here today in my presentation. I think, and I think you'll all agree, our town probably looks the best it has in a long, long time. And we're going to talk about some of those things that were achieved. What the city has done in the past few years is invest in our future. We've been very busy these past 2 summers and have completed or in progress on several projects. Linear Park, one of my favorite. We did a complete makeover of the Linear Park at a cost of $600,000. You can see here, if you remember correctly, it was full of weeds, natural weeds from Carson City. We landscaped the property, the Linear Park. We repaved the bike trail, and we added 22 pedestrian lights along the Linear Park. And I think when you drive by there at night now, and you'll see this later on in my presentation, we have pedestrian lights from almost State Line all the way down to Meeks Lumber, and we're very pleased to finally get that. Pioneer Trail pedestrian improvements. We put in sidewalks, pedestrian lighting on Highway 50 to Larch Avenue. This is about a $1.2 million project. The lights are scheduled to be delivered next week, November 11th. There's going to be 43 lights on Pioneer Trail. If you've ever driven that, and I used to drive it when I'd catch a 6 a.m. flight in the morning, you'd see people walk in there 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning coming to and from work. We did put up the Cobra lights years ago. Those will stay, but we will have pedestrian lights and curbs and sidewalks, make that pedestrian area much, much safer for our residents that live there. Also, City Council authorized to put plugs on top of the lights so we can put Christmas lights up there and decorate them and give that neighborhood a feeling of community, and also our whole neighborhoods when you drive there. Everyone uses Pioneer Trail. That's really exciting. If the weather is good, they should have those lights up by November 28th, being installed and operational, depending on the weather. Actually, I'd rather have them not up if that means we get an early storm, which we need and that we look forward to. Bijou Erosion Control. This is an $11 million project in the Bijou area that actually starts in Bijou and runs all the way up by my house, up by Woodland. This is a multi-year project which they started this year. Phase 1 will be completed in 2014. We'll talk a little more about that in a minute. Something that I've advocated and City Council supported is a new fire truck. Our ladder truck is over 35 years old, by the way. It was so old it could qualify for Hot August nights. This is a 100-foot mid-mount truck. Here's a picture of it being fabricated. This is the actual truck that's being fabricated back in the Midwest by Fiera Fire Truck. Delivery is going to be February of 2014. But I got to tell you, I saw the real value of the ladder truck when there was that fire on Pioneer Trail. And we were fortunate to have Douglas County send over their ladder truck. And I saw them operate. And what they did was the fire was starting to get up in the crown of the trees. And they took the ladder truck up way high. This is 100 foot, by the way. I think theirs is only 60. They took the ladder truck way high and shot down on top of the trees to prevent the fire from getting up in the canopy. To me, that was a huge, huge benefit and value. So you'll see the new truck in February of 14. We're real proud of that. New police vehicles. Total of 7 were purchased through Prop 172 funds. This is one here that's in. They're Ford Tauruses. Turbocharged. They sit about 3 inches higher than most vehicles. This is purchased through your Prop 172 funds, replacement funds, and low-interest municipal purchase program. We have 4 marked patrol cars and 3 detective cars. By the way, when I went over and looked at detective cars, one was a 1996 Chevy Lumina. They don't even make those anymore. And we'll be replacing 3 of those with these vehicles. Again, a lot of our vehicles and snowplows and things you'll see in a minute can't qualify for Hot August nights. Anything pre-74 is Hot August nights qualifications. El Dorado Beach area, a new restroom went in there with grant money, and it has low-flow toilets, so there's actually 2 restrooms there. There's one at Lakeview Commons and one over in that parking lot area, and it's up and operational. Caltrans project. This has taken many, many years of lobbying with Caltrans. As I stated earlier, in 1992, we started lobbying for curbs and sidewalks in this community. I'm proud to say we have most of that project done in the last 3 years on this side of town, It's a $43.1 million project funded by the state of California and Caltrans that this community worked hard for and lobbied hard for. Lost it one time, got it back. It's reconstruction and replacement of 2 miles of Highway 50 from Ski Run Boulevard to Trout Creek, extending the shoulders to 6 feet wide in certain areas to allow for Class 2 bike trails, added 8,200 square feet of ADA compliant sidewalks, which we were not in compliant on Highway 50. And this is important, 140 pedestrian lights along that section. Planting of 188 trees along the highway, 5,000 shrubs, and over 10,000 square feet of turf. And of course, built the curbs and gutters. I thought it was kind of really neat to drive through town this fall and see the colors along Highway 50. The shrubs were turning reds and oranges. And what I think this Highway 50 improvement has done is framed beautiful Lake Tahoe with some beautiful landscaping as you drive down the highway. By the way, also, if you look at the Y area, the curbs and sidewalks went in from the Y all the way to the two-lane road. And we're going to be lobbying for landscape and pedestrian lighting in there also. But as you drive in town, first thing you see is a beautiful sign, welcomes you to Lake Tahoe, and then you see some great curbs and sidewalks. Makes the town look complete. I think we're very proud of that. In the upcoming 5 years, Caltrans includes completing the airport to Y water quality improvements 2014 next year. Yes, we're going to have traffic control for a while longer, with new curb and gutter, roadway improvements, and sidewalks, all financed by Caltrans. The Y to Trout Creek started in 2016 and extending to 2019 includes curbs and gutters also. Landscaping, signals, and signage. One thing we have to do, and Caltrans took out of this project, is the pedestrian lighting. We will be lobbying hard with our state legislatures and Caltrans to put that back in. We want to see pedestrian lighting all through this town to make it safe, walkable, and bikeable for our locals and visitors alike. We think that's important. We think that should be a priority, and we're going to make sure it is. On the private side, Aspen's affordable housing project is just about done. This is a public-private partnership. This is at the corner of Pioneer Trail and Ski Run Boulevard, and if you've driven by there, you've seen that project. It's just about done. It's 48 rental units. 47 will be assisted units with low and very low income households that can qualify. This project was built with $3 million in state home funding. This project is currently under construction, expected to open in February of 2014. Unfortunately, this is the final redevelopment project the city is able to bring to fruition since the state eliminated redevelopment. But to recap what we've done with that 20% set aside for redevelopment, which was required by state law, that financed these following projects. We did Kelly Ridge, a 33-unit of senior housing, which opened in summer of 2009. Sky Forest Acres, which is 18 units, was opened in 2008. Tahoe Pines Apartments, which is 28 units of family housing. Tahoe Senior Plaza, right towards Barton Hospital there. On 3rd Street is 45 units of senior housing. And I think you'll all agree the landscaping and the buildings are really good looking. Tahoe Valley townhouses were rehabbed. Evergreen Apartments is 26 units of family housing. And Sierra Gardens, 76 units of housing that was rehabbed. That's a total of 350 units in the city limits for affordable housing for our citizens, and we're very proud of that. Like I said, unfortunately, the Aspens will probably be the last project you'll see for many years to come. Physical sustainability. For the first time in 5 years, we have a balanced budget. For the first time in 5 long years, the city budget is balanced without utilizing general fund reserves or other fund reserves to balance the budget. This is a milestone for our city, and there are still some challenges which we'll talk about in a minute. This budget, though, is prudent, conservative, continued focus on your quality core services, police, fire, snow removal, recreation. This is the first time in 5 years, and I think the council agreed, was the easiest budget we had, less controversial. There was no layoffs, no furloughs, no salary cuts, and without further service reductions, which was important to our citizens. On the good news side, I've had this cold. Local business impact. TOT is up 20%. That's significant. I've always said don't raise taxes, raise visits. We all win. City wins, businesses win. 20% is very significant. Sales tax is up 8 to 10%. 22 of these are almost 2/3 of our budget. Consumer traveling is on the rise. Good news for all of Lake Tahoe. I think we're a little microcosm we're the last to see these benefits as the economy improves. And we're a little microcosm as the city of South Lake Tahoe. If we do well in the tourism business, the rest of the region is going to do well. And by the way, local lodging and local businesses, particularly lodging, are reporting some of the best advanced sales for winter ski season that they've seen in a long, long time. That's another bit of really good news. Grants. Your city is very successful and active in getting grants. Staff is always seeking grant funds to provide needed financial support for capital improvements. We can't afford it out of the general fund. So we have aggressively looked under every rock we can find to get grants and been very successful. By the way, it's $31.4 million in active grants right now. That's almost your whole general fund budget. Some of the grants that we have in the Public Works Department is the Bijou Erosion Control Project, which I mentioned earlier, is $11 million. Sierra Track Erosion Control, Harrison Avenue, which will start next year, Pioneer Trail, which we talked about, and of course the bicycle rehabilitation of our trails, which we have some areas here we're going to show you in a minute. In the police department, our Justice Award Grant, an ABC enforcement grant, and as happens every year, by the way, when there were cutbacks, everyone says, we'll cut the boat patrol, eliminate it. That's totally funded by State of California under the Boating and Waterways grant funding, not through the general fund. That's where that money comes from. In the housing side, we have a lead safe program that you've probably seen advertised for the last year and a half. And of course, the Aspens project, which we already mentioned. At the airport here, we're going to have a ramp reconstruction starting next April and May, depending on the weather, completing the ramp going north, which hasn't been repaved and completed probably in 25, 30 years. And again, that's funded by grant money. We'll talk a little more about that. Also, I cannot believe this, but our 20-year master plan has expired. I was involved in that 25 years ago. And we're in the process now of upgrading that master plan with federal funding, FAA funding. And, of course, a wildlife hazard assessment has to be done as part of that, which is also funded by the FAA. Another $3.7 million in grant applications in progress for the following. $2.88 million from the State Water Resources Board for the Sierra Track Project Phases 3 and 4. $231,000 from CCC, California Tahoe Conservancy, for Sierra Track Projects Phase 3 and 4 also. $193,000 from Cal OES for the Domestic Violence Response Team in collaboration with our PD in Live Violence Free, which is a great asset for this community to have. $106,000 from the state towards SledNet. SledNet is a very important program for this community to battle the ongoing drug problem we have in this community and other communities. $300,000 from the state for the Business Technical Assistance Program. This is to help mentor businesses through the chamber. Partnership and development. We've been an advocate for business by helping bring in TJ Maxx and Big Five Sporting Goods. By the way, it was interesting. There was some comment that TJ Maxx would have a negative effect on Ross. It did not. I was quite surprised. I talked to one of the owners of Ross's yesterday. Actually, they were up a little bit. And of course, TJ Maxx, this is the top producing store in their district, and it's exceeding their expectations. And hopefully, for you ladies, this is where the Omakasa was in the process of a shoe store. Hopefully, we'll be there in spring. I met with the owners of the project yesterday, and they're going through some remodeling. So, you guys, it's going to cost you some money. We're also an advocate for the new auto zone, which will go in next to where Izzy's Burger Spa is. They have submitted their application to the city on that, and their application's in the approval process with TRPA. That'll start in spring, and it should be completed by fall. If you know where that little martial arts building was there, that'll be torn down. All state-of-the-art building, curbs and sidewalks in there, and the building exterior is going to blend in with the architectural that we have throughout the community. This was interesting. New businesses that opened in 2013. Now, this is just a sampling. A Cup of Cherries, Base Camp Pizza, Big Five Sporting Goods, McHugh Law, Monarch Architect, Mountain Meadow Chiropractic, Tahoe Bike Company, Tech Tahoe, Tot to Tot. But a total of 257 business licenses were submitted to the city between January and June of this year. That's almost getting close to the 300 mark by the time we get to the fall. So we do see some of these are small. Yes, we've got a lot more work to do. We're working with the chamber on a business mentoring program, like I said, and occupancy rate, vacancy rate's too high on Highway 50, and yes, we're aware of that, and we're working to attract more businesses to our business core area on Highway 50. Building trust and accountability. Support our community. The Gold Star Peak Memorial for Timothy Smith, Garrett Fant, and Philip Brandon Williams ceremony was held this summer at Lakeview Commons. It was an emotional ceremony. I attended it, but I think this community is proud and should be proud that we have a memorial there honoring our local youth that went and fought and died, paid the ultimate price for our freedom. By the way, that I can stand here today and give this speech is what they accomplished for us, freedom. And it isn't free. They paid the ultimate price. I'm so proud that we as a community can honor it with this plaque. It's right there at Lakeview Commons. I encourage you to go by and see it. It looks across at Gold Star Peak. This was a project was quite interesting with the city, Lake Tahoe Basin Management Unit of the Forest Service. I have never seen the Forest Service move so fast to get something done in my life. And I want to thank them. They were can-do and got it done in record time. And, of course, our local American Legion and Congressman McClinton's office, whose idea it was to name a peak after our fallen soldiers. We started a Citizens Academy in 2012 and have held 2 sessions in 2013, both in the spring and fall, with a total of 32 graduates. Some here today. We're going to give out diplomas for those that graduated. Citizens Academy is created to provide residents the opportunity to increase their knowledge about their cities and the local workings of local government and become more involved in shaping the development of our future community. Hopefully, we get some business candidates for city council from our Citizens Academy. It's a great opportunity to really understand and learn about city government operations and the services we provide. It shows you taxpayers' investment at work and expand their knowledge and become more informed on current and proposed projects within our city. I've attended a couple of those, and I always ask them at the beginning, how many employees do you think the city has? And the word comes out, 12, 15, 1,800? No, we got less than 176 employees. So that's an interesting statistic. So, right, Nancy, than 176? And I've had numbers from 1,200 to 1,500. Got to remember, police and fire 24/7. They're there when we're sleeping. So we've got about 176 in the workforce to provide all these services for our city. We had the first joint meeting ever that we all attended, almost all of us attended, between El Dorado County Board of Supervisors, Douglas County Commissioners, and the city was held this fall. It was really interesting. We talked about a recreation master plan. This is a shared vision by all 3 entities. You'll be hearing more about that coming up in the next year. We feel very strongly because of the impact of gaming, Indian gaming in Northern California. I don't know if you saw, there's a new casino opening, another Indian gaming. There's almost 40 casinos in Northern California. When I was in the gaming business, there were none. There's only 2 states that had legalized gaming when I was there back in the 70s and 80s, and that was Nevada and New Jersey. Now there's only 2 states that don't have it, and that's Utah, go figure, and Hawaii have no form of gaming at all. So we've always had recreation here, but I think we've all understood that we have to shift an emphasis more to that beautiful Lake Tahoe. Nobody else has Lake Tahoe. We do. We're going to take advantage of that. Nobody else has the trails we have, the fishing, the hiking, the backpacking, the camping, the parks that we have. We're going to take full advantage of that with the recreation mass. By the way, we have a semi-pro hockey team here now. And if you haven't been over there to the rec center and the ice skating ring, you ought to go see it. The orthopedic surgeons love it, by the way. I've attended a couple of games, and it's great hockey. It's every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday and Saturday it's at 7 o'clock, and Sunday at 10 a.m. I think they're out of town today, but they're here next week. And they play through March. Great opportunity for you to go see a hockey team. What's in store for our future? 2014? Well, I think we're all happy to see the Chateau project finally. Commonly known as a hole in the ground, not for long. It's going to be 18,800 square feet along Highway 50. If you've driven by there now, you'll see it rising above the fence. It will be one happy day when we get to tear that fence down and take that K-rail down. We want to make it a community event, and I will be there along with the City Council to knock the first board down. There's also going to be a 9,000 square foot restaurant on the corner. You can see that shaping up right now, right across from Harvey's. I think that's going to be a dynamite location for any restaurateur that wants to run that. And also, the landscaping, the streetscaping is going to be about even better than you see across the street in the Heavenly Village. And it's going to have heated sidewalks. Our concern has always been, and I think the police department will agree, has been the pedestrian safety along there. Even though we've got signs everywhere and barricades up, they still walk there. That's scary, particularly in the winter months, particularly when it's dark at night. It'll be streetscaping, it'll be pedestrian safe, and it will be a big plus. Even if nothing happens on the other phases, at least we'll have something on Highway 50 you can be proud of when we drive by there. Don't get used to it. Most of us are used to the fence. Get used to what you're going to see here very shortly. Also, the continuation of the Harrison Avenue Streetscape project in next year, 2014. That Harrison Avenue is in big need of rehabilitation. That will be happening with pedestrian lighting along there also. And I think you're going to see that kind of complete our streetscaping that goes all the way down to Trout Creek. Class 1 bicycle trail rehabilitation and the bridge redecking along Highway 50. There you go. These are the boxes here. That'll be rehabbed this next year. And yes, I did buy an electric bicycle. No, I haven't ridden it much. Tourist core area plan. Construction of the airport ramp we talked about is going to start in spring of 2014. This is a $1.2 million project with the FAA contributing 90% or under $1.1 million. I'll stand in line every day for that kind of grant money. This is amount is significant given the state of the federal funds these days. We're grabbing everything we can, as you know, with the situation in Washington, D.C. and the state. Grant funding is going to be drying up. So we want to make sure we get more than our fair share as your city. Lake Shore Avenue parking lot paving, that'll happen next year. Fire Station 2, as you know, we ordered a new fire truck, and Jeffrey and I were talking today. It's how long?
49 feet.
49 feet. Well, fire station isn't big enough. So we're going to knock the wall out in the back and get it set up to put the ladder truck in there, so obviously keep it inside year-round. We have various ADA improvements going along to city facilities, which is much needed and past due. We're also looking for special events. I've mentioned this before. We want to see special events in this town all year long. Can be small, can be big, can be in spring, can be in fall. We want to make sure that it's privately sponsored and city sponsored. It can be a partnership with the city. We have already had some special events that have popped up throughout this last year. More and more private enterprise are looking at special events. Of course, the Ski Run Improvement District is looking at more special events along their Ski Run Boulevard there. So it's important. If you got somebody looking for special events, check with the your chambers and with the city. Lakeview Commons. This has been extremely successful with Live at Lakeview concert series and stand-up paddle. I attended every one this last summer. I can tell you the comments I got from our locals, this is the first time they took a lot of pride in their community. It brought the center of town where it really belongs, right in the middle of town on Lake Tahoe, and the comments I got and received on those series was fantastic. They feel the city did something for them, and they feel a pride in our community and what we do, and those will continue. I am working on and have talked to staff. I want to do Monday night movies down there, Monday night movies at Lakeview Commons. I've seen this in other destinations, and maybe perhaps we do all movies that were filmed at Lake Tahoe. Remember the old High Mountain Rangers, the series that was filmed up here? Kind of funky, Robert Conrad. We might look at that. Maybe we do Western Week. Maybe we do Musical Week, and we do it right at sunset. We can come down, sit down, bring a blanket, and watch movies with Lake Tahoe as a backdrop in the ground. Something else I want to challenge the community to, and I want to see more art in public places. Mural program, for example. We've got 9 murals here in town. I want to see us expand that. It's a great resource and asset. But I also like to see some other public art. If you haven't noticed, the Washoe Woman is lit now at night when you drive by the Linear Park. We have places for public art. We've got some public art. But I want to challenge our art community to come up with some public art and fund it and put it throughout our community. I think we're ready. Redevelopment funded that artwork originally. Again, like I said, redevelopment has been disbanded. So let's turn to our art community, which we have a tremendous amount of talent and artists here in town, to make some more art in public places. Economic challenges. I mentioned earlier there are some serious challenges we have that we've got to find solutions to, whether it's through the legislature and financing, and that's unfunded liabilities. We're going to have a presentation today on actuaries, on pensions, and some health care. The costs are astronomical. There is no way this city can afford to pay these, as other cities are in the same position and same challenges. But we are keeping unfunded liabilities with health care, pensions at the forefront to make sure we come up with a plan, partnership with the state of California, and pension reform. This is critical. We also have challenges we're going to have to keep looking at as repaving our roads. Our roads are in desperate need of repair. As you know, we did some roads last year, but that's just a small bit of what's needed in our community. So we will continue to maintain a focus on unfunded liabilities in this community. Replacing snow removal equipment. Our oldest piece of operational snow removal equipment, which is a blower, 43 years old. I think most of you in the room aren't that old. I am. Followed by one that's 38 years old and one that's 32 years old. Now, we don't see these very often until we need them, and then they never seem to break down in July. I don't know why. My lawnmower never breaks down in January. But we've got to come up with some solution to replace that. Again, all three of those can qualify for Hot August nights. Our aging infrastructure system is a challenge we have to continue ongoing. We're working on a recreation master plan shortly. How will we fund this? This is going to be critical for economic development and growth in this community. So that's going to be a challenge, and this council's ready for that challenge to step up, because we believe, as Douglas County does, as El Dorado County does, recreation master plan is our future, is going to be something that has to be implemented to bring the visitors to town, to give them that recreation experience. We have received the results this October, and we'll be make sure that you get those results. This is on the survey that was done. December, we'll have a visioning sessions with the City Council. Really encourage those in the business community to attend that. Again, we're putting a lot of emphasis on our recreation master plan. If you haven't been up at Heavenly, they've done a beautiful job up on the hill, adding facilities so they have year-round summer facilities. And I did challenge Nancy to a zip line race. So we'll see that one next summer. She said I won. And draft plan for recommendations are due in spring. We want to make sure we get all the public input on this we can, because it's going to be critical. In conclusion, we've had a very successful projects in the last several years. The Pioneer Trail Sidewalk project being completed this season is already getting tremendous use and reviews. And this is to address a long-standing pedestrian safety issue along that corridor area. I think we'll all agree. The new sidewalks and lighting along Highway 50, I love it. And Linear Park also provide a huge pedestrian safety and visually make our community look fantastic. The Bijou Erosion Control Project, when completed, will provide for 1/3 of the city's entire total maximum daily load requirement in respect to preventing fine sediment from entering Lake Tahoe as required by Lahan. 1/3. That's huge. And done all with grant money. Again, Lakeview Commons speaks for itself. Concert series will continue. The stand-up paddle. I did try the stand-up paddle. I did enter in a race. I came in second. That's the bad news. The good news is there was only two of us racing. Me and Paul Middlebrook. We're coming upon the holiday season here very shortly, and this is a project that I've advocated for years, and I think in our city council, and Hal Cole actually started this last year. And we want to light up South Lake Tahoe this coming December 7th on through the holidays. Hal had this vision along Highway 50. We want to continue this vision. You have an opportunity as businesses. The city will sell you the Christmas lights. I think they're 100 feet long. Sell you one for $12 and give you one for free. They'll deliver them for you, and I think they're $12 each. Call Tracy Franklin. I'm going to give her a number to you right now, because we want to see Highway 50 lit up. Her phone number is 542-6093. She's standing by, taking orders. Let's get this town lit up. I'd never understood why we live in an area with snow and really a Christmas wonderland that we can't get our businesses to light up Highway 50. And we'll continue this project. And yes, the old ladder truck will be out in the neighborhoods for the last time on that ladder truck, decorated for the holiday season. Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone showing up. We're going to take a little break and have some snacks. Thank you.